Are you still banned from the Compton Walmart on Long Beach Boulevard for repeatedly stealing at the self-checkout? Welcome back to the Everything is Everything morning show, where we explore the art of cultivating something out of nothing into anything by recognizing everything is...
everything.
That is, of course, the voice of our special guest, the visionary wordsmith, Thomas Burgundy, who just released his second album, Lucid Kids Never Die, which I just played all the way through. And I don't use this word often, but it truly is a masterpiece. Thank you for sitting down and reflecting me this morning.
You know, I probably wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for you. You just always said what I needed to hear, when I needed to hear it. And you just planted every seed along the way.
You kept watering the seeds.
I was 14. I was 14 when I first discovered you. You haven't aged a bit, though.
Well, me and time have a understanding. But let's talk about this album. This is definitely a body of work that you have to listen to all the way through. It's very dense. It's full of hidden layers. Tell me, what was your intention behind the overall listening experience?
I really just wanted to bring you into my world. I think overall, I would want somebody to listen to it the way that I listen to music, the way I grew up listening to music, which is eyes closed, headphones on, and just get lost. And that was really the whole point. And I think I would want somebody at some point when they're listening to be like, how the fuck did we get here? Because that's really how it felt when it came to it's a life story, and there's all these different thought processes, there's all these different soundscapes, all these different directions that a lot of times I was like, how the fuck did I get here? And so I would want someone to listen and be like, what? And bring that all together as a sonic journey. I would want it to be a journey from front to back and have the production tell the story even outside of the words that I'm saying.
Yeah, let's talk about the production, because sonically it is so immersive. Give me some of your process as a producer, some of the influences, and the collaborative aspect of it all.
I started producing in 2020. I taught myself how to produce. This was during the lockdown, and I had the time, and I said, okay, fuck it. I'm gonna learn how to produce. I'm gonna make beats. And just like anything, when you're starting from scratch, you're gonna be trash. Well, I can never be trash at anything. But I was not great. And at the same time as learning how to produce, I was searching for the concept of the album, and in turn, really searching for myself. So I'm trying to learn how to produce at the same time I was making an album. So a lot of the beats that didn't make the album, they're still super grand, but not good. I was like, what the? I listened back to some of them. I'm like, what are you doing? And that's because I'm learning how to produce while trying to make a track for the album. But the ones that did make it, obviously, since I had an idea where the concept was going, I would find a sample and whatever was matching the tone or the feeling that I had or what I wanted to write about, and just add since I don't play any instruments, it's just samples and drums. I fucking love drums. I just any way that I can manipulate some sort of percussion, anything. That's probably one thing that was set my beats apart from someone else is the drums. And I had these beats, and then I reconnected with an old friend of mine, Bughouse. Fucking phenomenal musician. Out of this world, crazy. And I would bring it, I said, look, I need a synth here, I need a bass line right here, I need some strings here. And because he got all the toys, he got all the pedal boards, he's like, I know exactly what you're looking for. Don't worry, I got you. But he comes from such a different world than I do. His music taste super eclectic. I come from here, but we do meet in the middle somewhere with like Parliament, Funkadelic, Pink Floyd, Daft Punk. And since those were the sounds I was going for, we just dovetailed and made this perfect harmony that I don't even know what it is now because of the world he came from and the world I come from. So we bring it together, and it's fucking crazy. It's just, it's beautiful. it can never be recreated because where he was at his life, where I was at in my life, and then coming together. And so that is a good chunk of how the sound of the album came together. And also I got my boy Dominic, he's playing guitar in a couple of tracks, he plays violin, he's crazy, disgusting. And then I got KCA, he's playing keys on the intro, beautiful, on some Lonnie Liston Smith, beautiful. And then we got my motherfucking brother, Panels, one of the illest producers of all time. I call him the loop god. He'll take a 5-minute song, take 2 seconds out of it and just find the most beautiful loop ever. If you go through our text messages, you'll see a bunch of just beats that he'll just send me. I'll freestyle into whatever. And I'll end up making a whole song to them, and then I'd let him know. He's like, oh, bro, that's from a beat tape. Or that's for someone else. And I'd be like, bro, you got to let me know if this is off limits or not. And so some of the instrumentals that he had made, I had took them, and then I wanted to expand them. So I'm like, okay, this is a perfect loop, but send me the sample and send me the stem so I can build on it. So then I would add some, bring it to Bug House, and then we just take it to a whole different direction. But Panels, he is the spirit on a good couple of these tracks. And then we got my other brother, Daniel Guerrero. I fucking love you, Daniel. Oh my God, he is the first person that's ever made a beat for me in my life. As far as music, I don't even know. He started the trajectory of where I'm here now. And he made one of the beats, Lakers Tickets. And he had sent me the beat, and I just expanded on that. And then we have Tone Jones, fucking super dope producer. He did the foundation for Super Hustleistic Fruitful Swankification. But I got the stems from him and then just built on it. So anytime someone makes a beat, I gotta make it mine, add my own drums to it, just add some shit to it. And so it was a very collaborative album where this is what I'm going for. Can we add a synth here? Can we add this sound? I need it to sound like some fucking Pink Floyd shit right here, but I need some Funkadelic over here. I need this over here. And then this fucking beautiful piece. I don't know, that's just how it goes. And I think that's how my sound has evolved through collaboration.
Right. It definitely brings to life a concept, which resonates so deeply. But speak a little bit on the title, Lucid Kids Never Die, and the different interpretations of the word lucid in the story.
I believe everybody comes here with a purpose. I believe every child is born with the ability to fly. But all of that is solely dependent on your environment, your parents, their mindset, the trauma you go through, the things you see, the habits and the patterns you start to build, school, church, religion, all these things play a huge role on whether you're gonna reach your full potential or not. And what differentiates that is how lucid you are during this experience. When you decide to have that moment of clarity and you say, I am now going to dictate my reality. I'm not gonna let my environment, I'm not gonna let my parents, I'm not gonna let the shit I've been through, these thoughts that I have, tell me how I'm supposed to live my life. Tell me where I'm supposed to go. I am now deciding this is the direction I want to go, and I'm going to dictate my reality from here. And the other definition of lucid, obviously being shining bright, being luminous, again, like we talk about, we're all born with that light. And even when the sun is not shining, you got to be the one to find that light that's deep inside. You got to be the one to keep shining. Like everything I've been through, I'm going to keep shining regardless. Nothing going to stop me from shining. I'm still shining. I'm still here. And that's what we're talking about. So knowing that despite how dark it is, how gloomy it is, the rain outside, life is just pouring down on you, making that decision of nothing's going to take my light from me. I'm going to keep shining. And then, of course, in the story, the aspect of the lucid dream, which is similar to what's going on right now.
That leads me to the symbolism. From the chili watermelon to the pomegranate seeds, the cinnamon tea, the weather, the ocean, the radio, everything is symbolic. Go a little into the 3 acts and what each of them represent.
So yeah, there's 3 acts of the album, or 3 waves. And they each represent a particular mindset that I've either had my entire life or I share right now. And the first one being flying high in the friendly sky. Everything's good. I'm chilling. Life is cool. based on where I came from, based on, like, I made it out, at least mentally. I'm good right here, I'm flying. How I should have ended up, but I made it above that, I'm flying high in the friendly sky. So it is more kind of like, if I want it, I get it type shit. It is more egotistic, it is more material driven. But again, when you come from where I come from, you're just trying to make something out of nothing. You're just trying to get it. And that's what that first act kind of symbolizes. Of course, the chili watermelon, the city that I come from trying to bring me down. That duality, it's home sweet home, but it gets spicy outside. I love it, I hate it, it's everything. Based on that, I'm cool. We go into the second act, which is the storm, the sea, and the family radio. That's when everything starts to unfold, all the baggage. Of course, when it's raining, you gotta reflect, you gotta stop everything and realize there's a bunch of shit I have not addressed from my childhood. All these things, like I said, like these patterns, these habits, these fears and anxieties, these doubts, everything, these trials and tribulations, things that have kept me down, because when I grew up and my parents were together, I was homeschooled. We lived in Pomona. She was good. I was flying. My parents split. It starts raining. I fall into the ocean. Now we move to the hood. We're moving, bouncing around house to house, sleeping on couches, sleeping on the floor, sleeping in the car. My environment now is trying to take me under. Fuck trying to fly, I gotta learn how to swim. I gotta survive. But the one thing that always kept me afloat was that radio. I always had music. And that's the certain artists I would listen to that were telling stories that I could relate to that led me to start writing. So the music was what kept me afloat and not letting me sink down to my environment, become one with my environment. And then we move to the third act, which is the view from the Lucidus sphere. And that's a whole mindset switch. That's when you realize, none of this shit down here even really matters. The higher you go, the smaller you become. We're talking universal laws. We're talking all this shit that is bigger than you. It's not about success anymore, it's about freedom. It's about how high can I go? How far can I go? What can I envision that I haven't already seen? Because again, we're used to just, this is what I see, this is what I want to get. Then you reach to that point where, how about I envision something I've never seen before and go and get that? And realize once I'm above the clouds, I enter the Lucidus sphere, there's no limits.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about the Lucidus sphere because most people aren't familiar with it. And I know you love to get into your science bag, so break it down a little.
All right, it's about to get so fucking nerdy. Those of you at home, if I were you, I'd go pour a bowl of cereal or something, like my boy Daniel, and I say grab a pail and a blankie, because it's about to get fucking nerdy. Okay, so the Lucidus sphere. And I'm gonna explain it as if you don't already know, because I know you already know about this. But, so, growing up in school, we're taught about the 5 layers of the Earth's atmosphere, right? Maybe 5, 6, there's many, but the main layers, we got the troposphere, the first one. That's what we all know about. That's where all the weather occurs. That's where the air we breathe. Move up a little bit, then we got the stratosphere. So we know that. That's above the clouds. That's where no weather occurs. That's where jets fly. Okay. Keep going up. Then we got the ozone layer. We know about that. That's crucial. Hella crucial. We need that. That's what absorbs the sun's UV rays. We need that. Keep going up, and this is just for context, because the Lucidus sphere is down here. But just for context, we got, I'm gonna fuck up the order, but we got the mesosphere, the exosphere, the ionosphere, the thermosphere. All these just getting higher and higher and higher up into space, right? It gets cold as fuck, it gets hot, meteors are burning up, radioactivity is possible, auroras, all this shit. That's for context. Come back down into the stratosphere. Right below the ozone layer, we have the Lucidus sphere. Now, in the Lucidus sphere, that's where time stops. That's where time is suspended. This is where most people say time travel is possible. That's a whole different conversation. Because in this layer, there's these different chambers, these different portals, these different pockets that once you enter into them, you can see different versions of the future. You can also see the past, and you can see your present from a heightened sense of awareness. And so when you enter this Lucidus sphere, it all depends on what you are going there for. And I'm gonna compare, now it's gonna get real fucking nerdy. Hold up, let me cook, hold up. I'm gonna compare this to wave particle duality, right? Okay. So going down to a molecular level, that's up here, that's universal, that's up there. Come down to molecular level. We have wave particle duality. We have a photon, an electron, a neutron. Now, a photon, it has two different properties. It has a wave-like, and then it's particle-like. So when it is just chilling doing its thing, a photon, it is moving like a wave. That's the property it exhibits. Once you observe it, it starts to move like a particle. So it is one and the other at the same time. It is not just one thing. It is normally, or it's whatever it fucking feels like, is being a wave. But once you look at it, once you observe it, it now changes its behavior. And that's all dependent on you observing it, you taking a look at it. But it's not one or the other, it's both. So going back up there, going to the Lucidus sphere, this is all dependent on you entering it. It's always gonna be there. But once you enter it, that's when it's now dictated by what its purpose is gonna be. And it becomes this transjective experience. It's not subjective and it's not objective, because objectively it is there, it's part of the universe, but then you bring your subjective thoughts, your intentions, you bring it into it, now it creates a transjective experience. And so this is where the greatest inspiration is born. This is where infinite intelligence resides. Some would say manifestation, others would say prayer. This is where our subconscious goes when we dream, specifically lucid dreaming. And so it is, like I said, a transjective experience based on why you enter it. And like Marvin said, flying high in the friendly sky without ever leaving the ground.
It's fascinating, isn't it? I like to think of this album like a meta-modernist, urban sci-fi coming-of-age film. It's extremely personal, yet so universal at the same time. How would you describe the process of taking yourself to that place and finally releasing it to the world?
This is one of those bodies of work that takes your whole life to make. And I think a lot of people that know me, even though I do talk a lot, I don't talk about what I'm actually going through, what's really happening, what's going on, what I have been through. And I've always found a way to put it into the music and to make sense of everything that's going on. I learned if I make my situation rhyme, I take the power back. And now I get to illustrate how this should go. And this album became very healing and therapeutic for me. It low-key saved my life to the point where it might be just for me. Sometimes I think I just made it for me. And because I don't know what it turned into. It was one of those things where I just had to do it. I can't really explain it. I had to make it for me to, not only as an artist, but as a man, to make it to the next chapter of my life, to make it out of something, because I have a tendency to, once I figure something out or I realize something about myself, I gotta get to the root of it. But I'm usually only doing that through music. And that's what this album became, and it became very personal, it became very specific. And I look up one day, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Who the fuck is gonna listen to this? And when I was finished making it, I felt like I had nothing left. I have nothing left to say. I felt like I emptied everything out and then just go live some life and see what happens. But it was exhausting. It was exhilarating. I loved it. I hated it. Some days it was flowing smoothly from heaven. Other days it was months of resistance, most difficult shit ever. One day I knew exactly where it was going. Other day I didn't know what the fuck it was. It's the greatest thing ever. It's the worst, most selfish thing that only I will ever listen to. It's beautiful, it's ugly. It is my purest offering to the world.
It all makes sense eventually. Okay, there's 14 tracks on this album. I'm gonna ask you 14 questions, but you can only answer in one sentence. This will be difficult, because you'll be talking. But don't think too much about it. Whatever color the sky is, who the hell gave you permission to make a 7-minute intro?
Stevie Wonder.
Superhostilistic, fruitful swanxication. Is it a noun, verb, adjective? What does it mean?
I guess it would be a compound noun, because we have swanxication, swank, me talking my shit, but at a super hustleistic, fruitful level.
Is it your eyes as soon as you heard it? Yeah. Chili watermelon. You're back on your What does it mean to be on one's
Those that are on their knows what that means.
Love language. What is your love language?
Words of affirmation. With a side of physical touch.
Hold You Tighter. You say, track 7 led to a stare down. What's the album and the track y'all were listening to?
Maxwell's Urban Hang Suite. Track 7. Whenever, whatever, what is it? Whenever, whatever, wherever, whatever, whenever, however, that track.
Wow.
Ambivalence Cove. Are you finally in therapy?
Yes.
God, I love pomegranate seeds. Pomegranate seeds. What is your favorite Kirk Franklin song?
Something about the name Jesus. It is the sweetest name I know. Something about the name Jesus. I love that song.
Amen.
Rent due. Are you still banned from the Compton Walmart on Long Beach Boulevard for repeatedly stealing at the self-checkout?
Technically, yes.
You probably are, huh? Laker tickets. Who are your top 5 bucket getters of all time?
All time.
All time.
Put them anywhere on the floor, they get in the bucket.
Yeah.
T-Mac. Tracy McGrady, yes. T motherfucking Mac.
Okay.
Jordan.
Okay.
Kobe.
Okay.
Mello.
Okay. It's okay.
KD.
I respect that.
Bucket getter. Bucket getter.
I respect it. Kyrie.
He's 6. Kyrie. Put him anywhere on the court. Put him.
Okay.
Kyrie Harden. You know they right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I'm gonna put Dame
True,
Lillard.
true.
You know, but top 5.
Dame, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Last seen in Bloody Waters. What is one valuable lesson the streets have taught you?
How to differentiate between paranoia and intuition. And once I started dressing like Barry White meets Michael Jackson meets Scarface, I stopped getting banged on.
Still shining. Which universal law has been working most in your favor lately?
I would say the law of hypnotic rhythm. Hypnotic rhythm.
Cinnamon tea. Add a little honey. What does it taste like?
Tastes like innocence. It tastes like the pure state that you should be in, devoid of any influence.
Lucidus. What is the best way to get to the Lucidus?
There's a lot of ways to get there. What do you think?
This isn't about me. It's about you.
Traveling light. Are you and God still playing hide and seek?
No. Make sure you go experience Thomas Burgundy's latest album, Lucid Kids Never Die. It is fundamentally one of the most essential stories ever told. I will see you next time, and even though this frequency can only be accessed through a subconscious state, next time you find yourself lucid dreaming, tune into the nearest radio, 85.2, and I'll meet you there.